We're now at the beginning of 2023, right? And this is a time when people reflect on what happened last year and try to anticipate what's going to happen this year. And as you peruse articles, you often see trends, right? Trend analysis. So this year, what I thought I'd do is collect these and analyze them. And I collected trends published by 33 sources. So these would include companies like Andreessen Horowitz has put out something, Accenture, Deloitte, Etsy, Forbes obviously has a lot of articles. IBM put out a forecast of trends, Goldman Sachs, Gartner, Forrester. So collected these all up, these 33 sources, and found that within each, they typically have an average of 8 trends. So that yielded a pool of 115 trends. And these can be broken out into groups. So the group that this sample that I was looking at had 55 trends related to retail. It had 48 related to e-commerce. 44 on technology. There were a bunch on macro trends, what's going on in the global economy with geopolitics in Ukraine and, trade conflict with China. So there's that. There were a lot of trends related to Web3 and the rise of metaverse and virtual stores and things of that nature. B2B sales and marketing. There's a lot of innovation happening in that space. Then you have just general digital marketing, and there's a lot of stuff happening with what they call MarTech, with kind of automated marketing. And then we have trends related to work and social, right? This whole debate over going back to work. AI has gotten attention. And then we have ESG, environmental, social considerations, and how companies are being forced to address these more and more. And then customer experience, healthcare, and sales. So those were the big categories. What I thought I would do, since my focus is on platforms and marketplaces and ecosystems, I'd pull out a few and give you a flavor of a couple of these trends. So Shopify has put out one. Shopify, as you may know, is the platform that over 1.4 million merchants use, right, to do their digital sales. They have, they're worth, because they have such a purview of the market, worth looking at. They focused on a number of things, including the changing nature of how your presence on the internet is tracked. So they say the cookies are out, right? So there have been regulatory issues and blowback from customers saying, hey, we don't want all of our data captured. So data privacy regulations are having a big impact on cookies. So first-party consumer data is in. So companies are having to figure out new ways of capturing this first-party data. So we're going to see that increase in 2024, according to Shopify. Andreessen Horowitz had actually 25 trends. One of them was focused on the unprecedented labor shortages. We talk about inflation and the economy weakening, but we still have a very strong demand for labor, and there's labor shortages all over. And Alan just alluded to some of them that are impacting the theater industry. But what they point out is that this shortage is leading to a wave of new labor marketplaces. And in fact, with the rise of COVID, there was a new platform that emerged that helped match hospitals to nurses. And that company is now worth $1.6 billion. So really interesting to see the responses to shortages leads to innovations in being able to locate and match workers to where they're needed. There's a consulting firm called Kroll. They put out trends analysis, and they focused on the growing regulation and social pressure for companies to track carbon emissions. And how does this get manifest in the platform or marketplace world? I just recently purchased a ticket to Frankfurt, and I noticed, and I think I was using Expedia, there was a little drop down where I could compare the different flights and their carbon emissions. And I think we're going to see this more and more. This is where marketplaces are not just going to reveal the prices, the quantities, the quality of the product, but they're also going to have to reveal the carbon emissions associated with purchasing those products. Another trend is around healthcare. This is by Forrester, Forrester is pointing out the fact that big retail outlets are doing more and more healthcare business. We've seen these little clinics pop up inside these retail outlets. They claim that Walmart, Walgreens, CVS will double the amount of healthcare business that they do in 2023. And then finally, loyalty is important, right? It's better to keep a customer than try to acquire a new one. So lots of attention to how do you build strong loyalty programs and innovate in this space. So innovation around loyalty. And we're seeing companies like Starbucks begin to dabble into Web3 as new ways of using tokenization around loyalty and building new communities leveraging these new Web3 technologies. So those are a few of the trends. It's really interesting to dig in systematically. It gives you a big picture collectively what all of these organizations are putting out in terms of trends. So lots of interesting things that are going to happen this year and beyond.